I think the finest individuals are those who've been shattered by existence and have managed to persevere, have emerged on the opposite side. Why? Because they've been compelled by situations to abandon the facade of their capability and dominance. They've understood that they couldn't maintain that pretense. They've reached their lowest point and they've had to extend their hand and say, "I cannot manage. I am in a vulnerable state here. Assist me." Men become quite magnificent when that's occurred to them, but don't ever compromise for the immediate benefit of what the chance is right now. Trust in the larger vision. Trust that all these experiences are just instances constructing the momentum for the significant moment to arrive. Always sow the foundations of dedication and authenticity and dignity today, and then every day you nurture them and cultivate them. Trust in them because if you rise up every day and convince yourself that you're capable, I guarantee you will begin experiencing capability. But every day you rise up and you begin your day by declaring that you despise yourself. You rise up every day and say, "I am the manner I am due to what I experienced." You rise up every day and define yourself with your suffering because it is simpler to remain wounded than it is to recover. It is simpler to leave the blade inside the injury than extract it and release every single drop of agony that you ever experienced. That is simpler. It's that you experienced something terrible and you accepted them. You won't perish. And if you do perish, you won't mind because you'll be deceased. Optimal case, you succeed. Poorest case, it won't be significant. If you trust it. If you genuinely trust that you could be something, if you have that quiet voice in your mind saying, "Hey, you possess ability. You could accomplish this," then pursue that voice. My concept of human prosperity is genuinely unlimited. I don't think we comprehend what the boundary is, if in reality there is one for kind of maximum flourishing of aware minds. We have a fairly clear sense of what we don't desire and our entitlement not to desire. We don't desire to be frightened and disheartened. That the standard circumstance we desire to discover ourselves in increasingly is to smoothly collaborate with imaginative and joyful unfamiliar people, correct? I mean that there's 7 billion of us. We require structures and regulations and standards and methods of reasoning that remove the resistance out of enjoyable and non-suspicious engagement with unfamiliar people. It's not merely about possessing, 5 or so intimate companions who possess your support, correct? I mean, obviously we're all on the identical team on some fundamental level. And if we can't determine how to construct a society where everybody prospers to some extent, we'll possess the planet we presently possess. We're in a circumstance now where I think it's sensible to be concerned that our standard condition of division and factionalism and logical fear of the contradictory objectives of, different groups and different individuals is unsustainable in the existence of increasingly more harmful technology. I just say I think we must organize our situation mentally and collectively in a manner that we haven't yet. Charitable giving is when it's distant in this manner, when you're just signing a payment. You're not necessarily linked to the benefit you're accomplishing, and I can envision someone accomplishing tremendous benefit in the planet by signing very substantial payments but not genuinely internalizing the satisfaction of that some level. We must be conscious of the capability of rowing in 2 vessels simultaneously is what the consequences are in the planet of how we're existing. So, we desire to possess a beneficial influence on others, but we genuinely desire our aware conditions of mental agony and satisfaction to be connected in some logical manner to the kinds of consequences we're producing. Possessing our convictions connect onto truth to some extent is clearly beneficial because if they're not, you're just colliding into solid objects. Your guide is entirely incorrect. You are destined to experience pain, correct? So we must be in a circumstance where extreme lack of knowledge can't be contentment. May be beneficial to possess a somewhat unrealistic self-promoting prejudice, correct? To think you're presenting better than you are. Like it may provide you more excitement for your existence or more assurance. That's one concept. So I think we desire our convictions to be accurate in some fundamental sense. And consequently, we desire to be receptive to fresh proof and superior reasoning constantly. If you isolate yourself off, if you say, "Listen, I'm finished contemplating about truth and I understand what's accurate," then again, when more information arrives in, when something unexpected, when one of your instincts demonstrates to be incorrect, if you can't mistake correct, again, You're just going to fall out of synchronization with what's occurring in the planet and what different individuals think is accurate. So that genuinely the only mechanism we possess to accomplish that is human dialogue. We must be receptive to possessing different individuals point out mistakes in our reasoning. And we possess you in the dialogue we possess with ourselves, we must accomplish like what we must be perpetually receptive to the capability that we might be incorrect, and in reality, we're very probable to be incorrect. A lot of the duration, and so then hence the virtue of obtaining educated and encircling yourself with intelligent individuals and reading beneficial books and just revealing yourself to the kinds of teachings that different individuals have discovered over, thousands of years and are discovering in actual duration. Most of what individuals care about can be considered as an ability. I mean, prosperity is an ability. Not experiencing pain unnecessarily is an ability. Controlling noticing your psychological existence and controlling adverse emotion is an ability. So, I possess a contemplation app, and, contemplation is an ability. It was a very beneficial one, and I'm investing a lot of duration, teaching you what's now referred to as awareness. Contemplation, and the instant you commence practicing awareness, which is just discovering to pay careful attention to the character of your experience. You're not adding anything to your experience. You're just noticing what it's like to be you instant to instant, but in a manner that is not responsive. You're not grasping at what's enjoyable or pushing what's disagreeable away. Let's say you possess a fear of public presentation, correct? So you're about to go down out on platform and you experience worry. The standard condition of someone who doesn't desire to possess that experience is to try to determine is one to, in advance, be concerned about that experience. I mean, the worry is ignited just by the simple thought of what you must accomplish. Then once you experience the nervousness, you are at conflict with them. I mean, first you notice that worry isn't even that disagreeable. It's so near to excitement in its genuine physiology that genuinely the distinction between excitement and worry is more or less just that the perspective. It's just the narrative you're telling yourself. If you experience these sensations and this, slightly stimulated response right before you're about to go on a thrill ride, that's part of why you're going on the thrill ride. You enjoy that experience, correct? But the reality that you experience that manner when you're about to possess an interview or you're about to, walk out on platform, that's unbearable. The perception of identity for most of us is not a sensation that we're identical with our physical forms. Most individuals don't experience identical with their physical forms. They experience like they're travelers inside their physical forms, correct? They like my physical forms down here? Like these are my hands, these are my legs. I clearly care about these things. If these where my agonies and satisfactions are originating from, but I'm up here in the skull. So much of what we're contemplating is making us wretched, correct? So much of it is disagreeable. So much of it is producing worry. You look at your task list, you got 50 things on it, you just experience like, oh my goodness, the day is not extended enough. This is the condition we're in. And the reverse of that is when we're genuinely just linking with existence in a joyful, imaginative, magnificent manner. Like when you look out the opening, and it's the most magnificent sunset ever, and you are just looking at the sunset, correct? You're not like you're fully linked with its magnificence. Those are all instances where you're losing this perception of identity. You're not genuinely conscious of losing the perception of identity in those instances. You're not genuinely conscious of what is liberating about those instances, and you can't accomplish it in different situations. What's occurring for individuals, most individuals, is that they're anticipating for the planet to provide them a sufficient enough justification to just be existing, and to be existing so fully that they lose their perception of identity, correct? That they're no longer behind their surface, just anticipating for something beneficial to occur, correct? Or determining how to alter the experience enough so that again they can stop, they're no longer at conflict. I mean, we're to a greater or lesser extent, we're always at conflict. We're always battling something. There's always this you're always noticing something incorrect. You're experiencing uncomfortable in your physical form. You're responding to something that somebody accomplished or you thought they accomplished. The instance where you genuinely experience beneficial are instance where there isn't a arriving to rest, correct? Where it's not about the history or tomorrow. It's not about half a moment ago, and it's not about half a moment from now. And the maximum version of that is to requires the abandoning of this perception of identity. For me, flourishing is a matter of investing your duration, agreeably and joyfully and imaginatively. Every instant when someone asks you, well, that previous hour, that previous day, that previous week, that previous year, do you experience beneficial about that? Was that a beneficial utilization of your duration? That recalling identity, that looking back motion, that's where individuals be concerned about things like significance. And the recalling identity is the identity that you're talking to when you say, are you content with your existence? Whether you're asking yourself or someone's asking you, the responses that are accessible in those instances genuinely determine whether or not somebody possesses a kind of comprehensive existence contentment, whether they possess significance. But the experiencing identity, the identity that is just going instant to instant, experiencing agonies and satisfaction and just managing with this. The very brief, duration boundary, I think that's fundamentally our genuine identity. Utilization of adverse imagination, where you think of all of the terrible things that haven't occurred to you, because if you're stuck in congestion driving to the occupation that you don't enjoy and you're aggravated, you can think of all the things that could occur to you, correct? That occurred, and if any one of them occurred to you, you would consider your requests responded if you could just be returned to this instant, correct? Like you haven't been identified with disease, correct? You got 2 young children, say. You desire to exist to see them mature, and you could be the individual who today is going to discover you've got 2 months to exist. That's just more thought contemplating, but it can possess a significant consequence. You can reframe your experience in a manner that doesn't genuinely alter anything substantial about your situation, and it can let the illumination in. It's not what occurs that determines the significant part of your tomorrow. It's not what occurs. What occurs to us all. Said the key is what you accomplish about. It's not what occurs, it's what you accomplish about it. Existence ain't equitable to nobody. You just got to battle through, man. You got to accept reality sometime. It's like critics. When you get critics, individuals' judgment of you is none of your concern. God utilizes resistance to position you for something greater. Because God understands when these things occur, you possess 2 selections. You can let it shatter you or let it create you. It's because of the difficult durations that we are constructed. It's because of the struggle we are constructed. It's because of the trials and hardships we are constructed. If it wasn't for those things, we wouldn't be able to develop more. But what a lot of us accomplish, we accept it as this isn't equitable. We start abandoning our talent. We start moving away from our magnificence. We stop existing the existence that was designed for us. And we let these things that were to construct us shatter us. In your existence's design should be a profound trust in your own respect, your own value, and your own significance. Don't permit anybody to make you experience that you are nobody. You desire to resolve imposter condition and individual satisfying? Discover how to stand in front of the reflection. Provide yourself a celebration. Display that you appreciate yourself. Display that you receive yourself. Because if you appreciate yourself, you don't go out in the planet and search for different individuals to appreciate you because you don't require it. It's magnificent if they accomplish. But the marvelous thing is if you genuinely appreciate yourself, if you just receive where you are, you stop evaluating yourself. You receive yourself with some understanding. When you go out in the planet, if somebody else disregards you, it doesn't alter the reality that you regard yourself. If somebody else doesn't appreciate you or care for you, yeah, it hurts. It's unpleasant, but it doesn't alter the reality that you appreciate or care for yourself. Most individuals don't require their illumination. They receive their illumination. And when you receive your illumination, you are existing on things that are not deserving of your duration, effort, and power. To go ascending, you must be deliberate. Nobody ever went ascending by chance. You've never read a book on unintentional accomplishments. You must be deliberate with what we accomplish at Dior. All beneficial will be challenged on this world. Maybe not the following one will arrive to, but on this one, all beneficial will be challenged. Every garden will be invaded. Not to think so is innocent. Every garden must be maintained all summer. Do you desire the sentiment or do you desire advancement? 'Cause you can't possess both. I'll provide you an illustration. You're at the fitness center. You're curling. Your repetition 8 and your physical form starts to fire off those signals in your mind and it goes stop. It aches. If you stop, you get the sentiment. You don't get the advancement. That where the agony stops is when the labor starts. So you either get the sentiment or you get the advancement, but you can't possess both. This my inquiry to you. When you go liberate yourself, how extended you going to stay in this agony expecting alteration to occur in your existence? How extended you going to stay in this circumstance expecting things to alter in your existence? You've been here for the previous year, the previous 5 years, the previous decade, staying in the identical chaos, receiving the identical chaos, and wondering why you're pressured, wondering why you're not joyful, wondering why you're not satisfied, wondering why you're not experiencing the existence that you deserve to experience. When you go to liberate yourself from the agony, it won't be simple. In reality, it will be difficult. Existence is difficult. That's what existence is. And these obstacles that you confront, they are going to accomplish their optimal to accept you down. Do not let them. If you can accept to hear the reality you've spoken, twisted by deceivers to create a trap for fools, or observe the things you provided your existence to shattered and bend and construct them up with exhausted out instruments, you must comprehend that every portion of your existence is designed with the intention in mind. You don't possess dreams without examination. You comprehend? And everything you're going through is God preparing you for what you requested for. So when you get examined, it's genuinely God preparing you for what you requested for. You got to possess difficulties, reversals, errors. The only manner to discover how to get up, you got to fall. Discover only manner to discover how to get over, you got to be under. The only manner to discover how to succeed, you got to lose. Only manner to appreciate the satisfaction, you got to be weeping. You would not appreciate the sunshine if it didn't precipitation. Stand up, dig in, line up those difficulties and face them. Confront them. Battle them. Do not let them bring you down. Instead, let these obstacles raise you up. Let them elevate you. You don't possess to stay where you're just endured and not honored. You don't possess to stay where you're not joyful. You don't possess to stay where you're not being superior. You don't possess to stay where you're experiencing pain. You can liberate yourself from it. But when are you going to accomplish it? When are you going to understand that if you don't accomplish it, you're going to be standing with this agony forever? You're going to stay in this place of wretchedness for the rest of your existence. And I'm not trying to place fear in your heart, but I am placing truth on your mind. Nothing's going to alter. At some point, if it serves no intention in your existence, for your existence, you got to liberate it from your existence. And I understand it's simpler declared than accomplished, but you know what's a lot more difficult? Staying in agony for the rest of your existence. You know what's a lot more difficult? Staying in disorder for the rest of your existence. You know it's a lot more difficult. Staying at wretchedness for the rest of your existence. If you can create one pile of all your successes and risk it all in one turn of gamble and loss and lose and commence again at your commencements and never breathe a word about your loss, and so restrain on when there's nothing in you except the determination which declares to them, restrain on. Yours is the planet and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be an individual, my son. The capability to create is in experiencing the completeness of the existing instant. Existence in its completeness. Existence in its completeness is an inner condition of being. It is to experience, to understand, to comprehend the existence within you. The I am, which is awareness itself, or that is the completeness of existence. But it isn't me that alters you. It's you. You establish the minor objectives. You accomplish those objectives. Then establish some more and accomplish those and establish some more objectives. Maybe a little bit larger, but not that much larger. Just stop. Commence minor. Commence with altering tomorrow morning. Just tomorrow morning. Get that organized away. And then move on to the following day and the following. And move your existence to a superior place. One little step, one little success at a duration. Dedication prepares you to meet barriers. And falls because if you created a dedication to accomplish something and catastrophe strikes or disasters, accept place or things don't go your manner, you immediately commence reasoning how accomplish I solve the difficulty. If you possess no dedication, your first thought is how. accomplish, I get out of this arrangement. And we generally discover what we're searching for along the manner. There's going to be those reversals and disappointments. Again, if you've created the dedication, what you accomplish is you continue on. Individuals who created the dedication not only and are victors, but they also prepare themselves. They anticipate to succeed. They prepare to succeed. All possess restrictions. Does that mean I surrender? Of course. I'm going to try to be the optimal that I can be. The most powerful, the most rapid, the most intelligent. That's what I'm going to construct. It is achievable. How near can I get to that magnificence? My magnificence occurs in the obscurity of the early morning in isolation alone. Create a decoration to yourself. Declare all-out conflict that you're going to get out of this destruction. So, you may sit there and look at yourself, and maybe you're even accepting into the media. Maybe you're even trusting that because you were born a certain ethnicity, or you were born to certain parents, or you possessed parents, or you've experienced from sadness, or all these different things that they place in your surface to provide you the precise justification as to why you can't accomplish what it is you desire to accomplish. You require to comprehend one thing, and that's this. Your difficulties, your obstacles, your circumstance will either be the justification you don't create it, or it will be the narrative you tell when you create it, and you get to create that selection. The different thing is, accept full accountability for your existence. We can either receive conditions as they exist, or we can accept the accountability to alter them. Pursue that dream before you perish, man. Bishop Jake declared one duration. Bishop Jake declared, I would despise to perish and never accomplish the thing I was born to accomplish. It isn't me, it's you, but it isn't me that alters you. It's you. You establish the minor objectives. You accomplish those objectives. Then establish some more and accomplish those. And establish some more objectives, maybe a little bit larger, but not that much larger. Just commence. Commence maintenant. Commence with altering tomorrow morning. Just tomorrow morning. Get that organized away and then move on to the following day and the following and move your existence to a superior place. One little step. One little success at a duration. Projecting yourself forward to see what are the outcomes of failing, what are the outcomes of stopping, is about as capable of a motivation approach as I can think of. Because what you're accomplishing is you're trying to optimize correct now to stop the discomfort, but what you're going to compensate for that in is humiliation and remorse and sorrow extended term. So what you require to be able to accomplish is bundle all of that up that is as yet unfelt, but will persist for manner extended. You know the tomorrow is much extended than now. The tomorrow is going to extend out up until the day that you perish, and the now is just for now. And even 130 hours is just 130 hours. And you get to look back and accomplish, you look back with satisfaction and magnificence, or accomplish you look back with humiliation and remorse. The justification you require significant things is because existence is genuinely a significant difficulty for everyone. I mean, you can protect back and exist a very cautious existence, and it doesn't stop you from possessing to confront the maximum inquiries of existence. It would be superior if you could, I think, if you could face them completely. There are going to be durations when you're in an emergency room and, inclined to alarm and to weep and to collapse and to fall and to be of no utilization to anyone around you. And that's not the correct manner to be. The correct manner to be in a circumstance like that is to be powerful and dependable. And I don't think you can accomplish that without being intelligent. At some point in existence, we got to awaken up and we got to say no more. We got to awaken up and we got to say, man, this is it. We got to awaken up and say, I'm going to create an alteration, a distinction. We can't just be online observing things, declaring amen. All the things that go back to the identical things, y'all. It doesn't labor like that. Hearing things is magnificent, but you know what? Accomplishing things and accepting action, that's what's going to create alteration in your existence. You require to commence creating some decisions. You ain't got to alter everything, but you require to say, you know what? This is the one thing that I'm going to stop being faithful to, and this is the one thing I'm going to commence being faithful to. You've possessed enough disappointment. Sometimes your mind doesn't desire to get disappointed, so it's a lasting difficulty. No difficulty is lasting. Only your soul is lasting. Nothing's forever. Everything alters. Everything eventually ends and something fresh commences. That's part of existence. Those are the periods of existence. You must lose your fear of failing. Failing is a part of the procedure. Individuals who never fail never attempt. You must fail. You gotta get it incorrect to get it correct. You discover nothing from succeeding. You only discover from your failings. That you were born to accomplish something magnificent with your existence. That you're sufficient. That you're unique, that you're blessed, that you're selected. Regardless of where you originate from, regardless of what you've been transporting with you. But every day, some of us are destroying ourselves with the humiliation we transport from something we've accomplished, some disgrace, some fear. We place this weapon to our skull every day that tells us we're not sufficient. We're not powerful sufficient, attractive sufficient, intelligent sufficient, blessed sufficient, that we're condemned. And we transport these weapons in our skull every day that humiliate us, that accept our assurance from us, that steal our satisfaction. And there's a superior manner forward. You can place those things down in your existence. You can decide today that you were born to accomplish something magnificent. Without dedication, you'll never commence. But more significantly, without reliability, you'll never complete. Keep laboring, keep pursuing, never surrender. Fall down 7 durations. Get up 8. Simplicity is a greater danger to advancement than difficulty. In existence, you don't possess just one attempt. You see, the only distinction between you and anybody that has designed the things that you desire in existence is that they just kept attempting over and over and over and over again until they got what they desired. In existence, you possess an unlimited number of attempts, lots of structures to attempt to ascend, and if you fail in one, go try in another. But the point is, you're still trying to aim for the summit. And what the underworld are you going to accomplish if you don't try to aim for the summit? You know, move about uselessly and complain about your existence. It's not beneficial. It'll just create you wretched. You're not dependable to anyone. You can't assist out in an emergency. I don't care what you're going to accomplish, but go out there and create something of yourself for God's sake. Be a sincere individual and labor and get to the summit of whatever it is that you desire to get to the summit of. You know, and stand up for yourself like a dignified human being and be a bit of a illumination on the planet instead of a curse. There are individuals who arrive in your existence sometimes to be there for a period. They weren't meant to be there always. Sometimes we discover ourselves connected up with individuals that we think are there for a lifetime, but they were only supposed to be there for a period. There are individuals who arrive in your existence like propellants for a projectile. If you ever observe a projectile go into space, the propellants fall off when it reaches a certain elevation. Some individuals are not equipped to manage the elevations that you're going to, so don't be afraid when they fall out. They're not terrible individuals. They just couldn't go where you're going. The individual who adores walking will walk further than the individual who adores the goal. When you adore the passage, the objectives just occur. You strike milestones as a side consequence because it doesn't matter at that point. I don't care if I can lift this much mass or run this rapid. I mean, that's magnificent, but I don't adore it as much as I adore the passage. I adore the passage. What does the passage consist of? Being terrible at something, failing, getting superior, discovering, commence it over, accomplish it again. When you fall in adoration with the passage, everything else accepts care of itself. If you can keep your skull when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all individuals doubt you but create allowance for their doubting too. If you can anticipate and not be exhausted by anticipating or being deceived about, don't deal in deceits, are being despised. Don't provide manner to despising, and yet don't look too beneficial or talk too intelligent. If you can dream and not create dreams your master. If you can think and not create thoughts your aim. If you can meet with success and catastrophe and treat those two imposters just the identical, the more accountability you accept on, the more significance your existence possesses. And the elevated extent of accountability that you consent voluntarily to try to accept, the wealthier your existence will be. It's like it's mass. It's accountability, but there's magnificence in it. There's genuine magnificence in it. There's profound significance in it. Yes, existence can be overwhelming. That's the manner existence labors. It is testing you. It is going to throw difficulties at you, and it is going to throw them at you all at the identical duration. This is the manner existence labors. Murphy's regulation. It is simple to experience defeated when you're confronted with all those difficulties at once. But let me tell you, that does not mean surrender battling. In reality, it means the reverse. It is duration for you to battle more difficult, to dig in, to go on the conflict path, to evaluate what the difficulties are and decide which one you are going to challenge first. But God provided you the illumination and you just radiating. Even when they try to stop you, you still radiating. Even when they try to decelerate you down, you still radiating. Even when they try to arrive against you, you still radiating. Even when they utilize their methods to try to wound you and destroy your vision, you bring more illumination to it and you keep radiating. You must comprehend this reality. I comprehended this in my existence. Everybody ain't meant to manage the illumination. When somebody possesses obscurity in their soul, when somebody possesses obscurity in their essence, when somebody is resentful and you becoming superior, everybody can't manage the illumination of magnificence. Everybody can't manage the illumination of purpose. Everybody can't manage the illumination of you being who you are. You've been designated to be able to accomplish what you've been summoned to accomplish. Everybody can't manage that because everybody ain't that. I say to you, the cosmos is summoning you. The voice of magnificence has summoned me, and I'm afraid to respond. We've been told two falsehoods in our existence. The first falsehood is you're nothing. You're not valuable anything. That's the first falsehood. The second falsehood we've all been told is you can be anything. It's not accurate. The manner we're constructed defines what we can accomplish with that construction. And consequently, the reality is you can't be anything you desire, but you can be everything you are. Outlook affects and influences how you see the planet, how you see individuals, how you see situations, but also it affects and influences how you accomplish things, correct? Like I always say, outlook drives execution. You can possess all the assets in the planet, but the mistaken outlook and an individual that possesses no assets with the correct outlook will destroy them, correct? Because they're propelled by the outlook of what they're accomplishing and how they're accomplishing. You can possess all the assets in the planet with the incorrect outlook and not make progress, not make no ground on the mission and the intention of what you're trying to accomplish. It won't be simple. It will be difficult because existence is difficult. That's what existence is. And these obstacles that you confront, they're going to accomplish their optimal to accept you down. Do not let them. Stand up, dig in, line up those difficulties and face them. Confront them. Battle them. Do not let them bring you down. In reality, let those obstacles raise you up. Let them elevate you. We're all placed here for a reason. And it's not to go over here and beat on this instrument about what should be and what's not equitable. The planet will never be suitable. The planet will never ever being suitable. Someone will always possess a simpler path than me. Regardless of how challenging you think your path is, there's lots of individuals out there who had that identical path and genuinely succeeded huge with that path. Let the hardship you confront today turn you into a superior individual tomorrow. Transformation and alteration is achievable, but it's not very probable. The probability is minimal, but the capability is elevated. Everyone possesses the chance to alter, but the path is extended, difficult, and often requires substantial amounts of disaster, pressure, and chaos to even get someone to possess that chance to accept that path. I also trust that individuals don't alter for individuals. I think individuals alter for themselves when they understand that if I don't alter, then that's not beneficial for me. But the probability of that occurring is minimal until something enormously agonizing or extreme occurs in their existence. How you accomplish anything is how you accomplish everything. This ain't declaring, oh man, I got to accomplish this the manner I accomplish that. That's what immature talk. We talking mentality. We talking essence. We talking attitude. We talking about how we appear and how we labor with what we say we desire without letting circumstances, situations, and individuals dictate what we bring into an atmosphere every single day. I'm going to say it again. And not letting circumstances, situations, and individuals dictate what we bring into an atmosphere every single day. We got very few things that we can manage in this existence. Things, the significance that you provide things in your existence. Significances are everything. How you define your existence will tell a lot about how distant you go with your existence. When you're genuine about alteration, you don't say simpler declared than accomplished. You're declaring, no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how unachievable it may seem, no matter how many individuals walked out of my existence, I'm going to get it accomplished. that we don't understand that half the duration the thing that's burdening us down, the thing that's restraining us back is what we're restraining onto. What part of your perspective you going to leave behind today? What part of it are you going to say, I might require to leave that behind. I might require to let go of that. That doesn't serve me anymore. Sit on your resting place one day and ask yourself, what remarkably foolish things am I accomplishing on a consistent basis to completely destroy up my existence? And if you genuinely ask that inquiry, but you must desire to understand the response, correct? Because that's genuinely what asking the inquiry means. It doesn't mean just expressing the words. It means you must decide that you desire to understand. You'll determine that's out so rapid it'll make your hair curl. You're flawlessly capable of reasoning. God only understands how. You're flawlessly capable of tremendous feats of imagination and dream and fantasies. God only understands how you accomplish all of that. What would occur if you consulted yourself about the optimal achievable outcome for you? You won't get a response.